I'm going to read to you an excerpt from this book that everyone needs to hear. This is from the book Mastery by Robert Greene. He says, "It is in fact the height of selfishness to merely consume what others create and to retreat into a shell of limited goals and immediate pleasures. Alienating yourself from your inclinations can only lead to pain and disappointment in the long run, and a sense that you have wasted something unique. This will be expressed in bitterness and envy, and you will not be able to recognize the true source of your depression. Your true self emanates from your uniqueness, and it communicates through powerful desires that seem to transcend you. You can't ultimately understand why you are drawn to certain activities or forms of knowledge. In following this voice, you realize your own potential and satisfy your deepest longings to create and express your uniqueness. This is your purpose. This is your life task." I picked up this book years ago. I picked up my phone, I made a TikTok about it, and I read the lines just how I did now. It got 100 views, and nothing really came of it, right? And then I pick up my phone, this was 2 days ago or something, and I see this specific video like popping off. I'm not kidding, from 2 to 3 years ago. And so I decided to pick this book up again and share it with you today. So I want to go into this idea today about how important it is to follow your curiosity and your inclinations and what happens when you don't, and how this can help you elevate your life in so many ways. The author is saying, when you don't act on that calling that you have, when you ignore the idea that keeps following you, then that's only going to create resentment towards other people who are doing what they want to be doing. Act on the ideas that you have and create more than you consume, or at least as much as you consume, because the creation leads to the fulfillment. Yes, consume for inspiration, consume for entertainment occasionally, but we all have something that we're meant to express. I know a lot of people suppress their ideas and maybe feel confused by them. I know I did when I first had ideas come to my head. I would be like, well, that's not something that I can do because it's me. I can't do that. You see other people do the things and it just makes sense. When it comes to yourself, though, you kind of don't even think that you're capable of it or that that thing is for you. The bystander effect is what I talked about in my last episode. We assume that somebody else will do it. If there's people around, somebody else will take initiative. But you should be the one to take the initiative. Like, we have unique callings within us. As soon as you feel that excitement towards the idea, act on it. With even the smallest things, if you want to take a dance class and in that moment, you feel really excited, then do the research right then and there. Find a class that you can take, an intro class, and book it. Waiting is what kills your dreams and what kills the manifestation of what you would want to happen. I also think releasing your attachment to the outcome is so incredibly important, because the more attached you are to the outcome, the less fun the journey is, and the more anal you are in every step of the way, because you're trying to force a certain outcome. Whereas for me, for example, I have been so curious about film, and I majored in biology, but I don't want to do that anymore. So now it's been 4 years since I graduated college, and I decided, or I don't know, I just kept getting little glimmers. I don't know what to call them, but I would be curious about film. And then I watched a filmmaking YouTube video that was 3 hours long, and I watched the whole thing and I thought, this is so cool. And then I got a camera and I just feel like I had so many ideas that I wanted to express that never really came through because I felt like I didn't really have the tools and, the skills. So in that moment, I just was like, you know what? Let me just speed to act on this calling. I looked up summer programs for film and I found one at USC. I got in. So I'm taking one documentary filmmaking class that dissects the whole process of scripting and pre-production and post-production. That was me not overthinking like that idea that I had. And I don't know where it's going to take me. But I know that if I only cared about becoming a filmmaker at the end of it, this would be so stressful. I would feel like so much pressure right now, but I feel calm and I feel excited about it. And I keep thinking, there's so many possibilities of where this could go. I could end up making little shorts for brands about how they started their business, or I could get into the legit film industry. So, yeah, I think acting on your ideas doesn't need to be so scary and like, what if I fail? Because you're just making up the failure in your head with your expectations. I could technically set myself up for failure if becoming a Hollywood producer or director was where I had my vision, and say that that didn't happen. The failure happens when you attach so much pressure to the outcome. And instead of just saying, this is my next step, I'm going to fully embrace it and I'm going to commit to that step. That is the success in itself. Obviously, you set goals for yourself beyond that, but I just think embracing where you're at right now and like taking that first step is the key. So I love that the author talks about that and made a whole book about it, about just a slow burn of, your path to success, whatever that looks like. In this book, he highlights different stories of successful artists, writers, such as like Einstein, Darwin, and then there's more relatable people, I guess. But the thing is, everyone in here is relatable, and it's that like they all have a very similar story, even though they're vastly different. But the theme is that they're doing something right. They're on their what expected life path, career path, and then they think, this is not what I want to do. So they get curious about something else. And instead of suppressing that curiosity, they act on it. And whether it be them taking a night class or them completely leaving their career path and going on an adventure to discover the history of evolution. The point is that that wasn't what they initially were doing. And they weren't born with this huge passion and this huge mission to go do what they became known for. They got trapped in the cycle. They were trapped by people's expectations, what their parents wanted. Their parents thought they were failures, some of them. Some of them, they just had outside critics, and they were able to ignore the noise and just take the next step following that curiosity. You don't need to have it all figured out. These people didn't, yet they trusted that they had a unique calling for a reason, and they didn't shy away from it. It's so easy to see people as an overnight success or as innately gifted. Obviously, athletes, they could be genetically blessed, but they still have to work for it and they still have to build resilience. Being successful is all about being resilient. It's not about never failing or never receiving criticism. It's about being able to ignore that and move forward. And the same goes for disciplined people too. There was an interview I listened to, and they asked the guy like what the difference is between disciplined people and non-disciplined people, and it's that disciplined people, of course, they get lazy thoughts in their mind. Even I've been going to the gym for years and years and years now. It's a routine, it's a habit, but there are still days where I think I don't want to go and I literally don't care. And then I still go. So you are not immune to those thoughts. You're not immune to self-doubt. It's just that you're able to ignore it and think of it as an annoying little voice that you don't need to let dictate your actions. It's like your nagging little sibling or something. So just having that perspective, and especially from me, I freaking know what it's like to feel like you're not worthy and to compare yourself to people, to feel like no matter what you do, it's not for you. I have a lot of imposter syndrome, even in my job now as a fitness coach. I just always think that there's someone more qualified than me or more worthy than me. Yes, there's going to be people more qualified, of course, but the worthiness is not true. Even though I hear the voice in my head, I do know that I am worthy as I am. I know what it's like to not feel worthy and to think that other people are more gifted or more capable than you are. But the only thing that's different is that they are confident enough just to take action. And also, you don't need confidence to take action. You just got to do it, and the confidence will come later. When you get good at something, confidence is just a lack of skill. And the more you develop that skill, the more confident you become. Even if it's, oh, I'm not confident in my body or in my appearance. That still comes from practicing tall posture, maybe practicing wearing a style that you like or doing a makeup look that you like, putting in the effort, and then the confidence comes later. You don't wait to have confidence to take action. You don't wait to have muscles to go to the gym. And something I've really been obsessed with, I feel like it is my whole mission to understand what is authenticity. Tying into this message that I read, authenticity is paving your own path no matter how that looks and no matter how other people will perceive it. You will always be perceived differently in somebody's head. There are so many versions of you, so many stories of you existing in the minds of every single person you meet. To your mom, you are her baby, you are her soulmate, her everything, and like unconditional love. But then to your best friend, you are her confidant, person that she likes to go party with. And then to somebody else who may not like you, you are the person that annoys them or is cringy to them and makes them not want to be around you. But it doesn't even matter what other people think. That's not the point. The point is that you're living life for you and you don't need to live up to all these stories that people create about you in their head. And people's stories are so tied to how they were raised and how they see themselves. And there's this quote that goes, people don't see you how you are, they see you how they are. And it's so true. Even with my best friends, I know that there's parts of them that I don't see, yet I create a whole story of them in my head. In my head, they're whole. But I know that there's so much more to them that I don't know. And that's inevitable with every relationship. You can only know someone so much. And even then, I see them through the lens of myself and what I've heard growing up. So I have biases, of course. And it's not up to them to live up to the idea that I have of them in my head. And they can break that barrier if they want. And it might shock me. Like, when you have an idea of somebody and then you get to know them more and it's like different than what you thought, even if it's in a good way or bad way, it's just different. And then you think, wow, I guess they are not what I thought they were or who I thought they were. Life is about, and being human is about being okay with being a different person in someone's story. You're always going to be the different person, but you're always going to be the side character in their story. We got to live life for us. We got to be our own main character and not be so worried about how other people view us. And that should be empowering because then it's like, oh, I could do whatever the hell I want. Even if that person may be analyzing what I'm doing, I'm still a side character in their life. Like they're still worried about all the things going on in their life. And so even if they direct some sort of attention to me, that's probably 2% of their attention in the whole grand scheme of things. Yeah, just getting over that and accepting that and knowing that you don't have to live up to all of these molds of you. You just have to live up to what you want in this moment. And that's so much easier said than done. But I do think it's very empowering to follow people that are just so themselves. I was looking at like my favorite creators, Bretman Rock, Kylie Jenner. I love my Kardashians. Even like certain podcasters. I really like Jake Shane. I just discovered him and so many people. Oh, and Sierra Ramirez. Oh my gosh, love her. But anyways, I was thinking, what commonalities do they have? Because they're all so different. And even the way that they speak, the way that they write their captions and edit their content and just are as a person and on interviews. Everything is different. But what I respect about them is how much they just say things with their chest, and they are not trying to say things just to sound correct and just to please the masses. They genuinely are just so unfiltered. Obviously, it's impossible to be 100% unfiltered. Like when you're doing interviews, you're going to put on a better front, I guess, but they have an ability to say things that are different from what is out there, or to do things differently than the way things normally are done. And that is why they're successful. It's not that they are born with more worth than we are, or that they have these special gifts. And of course, money does help. But overall, I think you can have all of these external factors going for you and still not be successful because you're ignoring your authentic voice. You're not allowing your unique ideas to come through. And that's what makes a person successful. It's like, how fulfilled are you in your life? And how much can you own your ideas and make something of that? Use your vessel to create something that other people can enjoy. Make an impact, but in your own way, and like play the long game. And I want to end on this other Substack article. I took notes on it because it was so good. I actually think I wrote the notes, so they're not. So she was talking about how to move at your own pace while still making an impact. And she goes over the 5 types of slow burn successful people. So we have the ritualist, the daydreamer, the builder, the phoenix, and the wanderer. Basically, all of them like have a different creative style and a different execution style, but they all play on the fact that they are here to create something that will stand the test of time and that will actually reach people and connect with people. While one person may be like the wanderer, may be a little bit more carefree with their approach, the ritualist is more attached to a routine and like needs to have a breakdown. But that doesn't make either of them right or wrong. It just is about knowing what your style is and what works for you, and then trusting that process. So I really liked, even she talks about the phoenix would be considered somebody who turns their personal story into a powerful narrative that resonates and doesn't let their flops or their mistakes define them. Like they are able to control that narrative. If you need motivation, honestly, go through people's stories and look back at like where they started. There's even with Tate McRae, I don't know if I've talked about this, but I looked up when she popped off last year, I think. I was like, why does her name sound so familiar? So I looked her up on YouTube and I go see that from 12 years ago, she had songs. She would write her own songs and then play them, I think, on the guitar. And when it's a red bar, meaning that you watched it. So 12 years ago, I was binging her stuff. And I just thought that's so cool that I can finally see somebody that has had a slow burn and that stayed so consistent. And then now they're finally reaping the benefits of all the consistency and the hard work that they put in. So yeah, look at people's stories. If you have a YouTuber you like, go to their page and look up oldest videos, and it'll probably be from like 12 years ago, 10 years ago, and you'll see how different it is when they started. But the point is that they just got started and stayed consistent with it, powered through, and are ever evolving and unapologetic about it. I hope this resonated. Let me know in the comments what resonated the most, what you took away from this, and I will see you in the next video. Until next week, see you. Let's go into my consumption corner. Firstly, I am drinking this creatine water, and it's, I think, berry or something. But I'm back on my creatine because I got a flavored creatine. I've been drinking, before this one, the most like chalky, plain creatine. I would dread it. I would dread it every single day. I would skip it. I just wasn't consistent because it was so nasty. The tea is you need to get flavored creatine or mix it in with something but this one's so good. My next obsession is Substack. And Substack is basically a Twitter for creatives, for writers. And it is so like my cup of tea in the morning. I feel like I'm finally starting to understand how to romanticize life. I've been in the morning, I'll have my breakfast. Right now it's been yogurt, Greek yogurt, and then 2 eggs and some cottage cheese on the eggs. But yeah, I'll pull up the Substack, feel like it's my morning newspaper, and I'll just read a couple articles. Like I'll save a bunch when I'm scrolling at night and then save some that I want to read in the morning. And I'm like, I feel so seen on that app. It's as somebody who's very much a like emotional thinker, analytic, I think about everything very deeply and I try to find the meaning in everything. It's such a good app. And it's just cool. Like they have fashion on there, they have marketing, business, pop culture. Love it. And then my last obsession is the DJI Pocket Osmo Pocket 3, which I'm filming this on and recording. And it is so convenient for vlogging, for videos. I feel like I don't even need to really use my phone that much anymore because this is just as convenient as my phone. And then I could save storage on my phone. And it takes pictures, videos, it does 4K. So good. I mean, you can look at the quality that I have posted on YouTube. And I feel like, I mean, I don't really know much about cameras and stuff, but I do think the quality is comparable to the Sony ZV-1 that I have, and I don't even use it anymore because of this camera, and I'm considering selling it. So yeah, love it, convenient. I would get it even if you're not a creator for trips, family trips, vlogs with your friends, just to have memories back. And it's like $500 at Costco, which is a pretty good deal for a camera. It's 4K. And yeah, and it has like a tracking. It follows your face. You see this? So cool.